a great day in Franklin, Tennessee, and we're glad you're here at Franklin Tomorrow Frank Talks. I'm Mindy Tate, CEO of Franklin Tomorrow, and I'm going to so first of all, how many of you went to the building behind this building? Okay, guys, okay. But we're so glad to be at the Williamson County Entrepreneurship Center here in Williamson County, and I'm going to introduce Jeremy Qualls, who is part of the team here, leads the team, and he's got something that's going to wake you up, and then he's got just a few words to talk about what's happening here in this great facility of Williamson County Schools.
Hello and welcome. Well, what we'd like to say here is if you can hear my voice, I want you to clap twice. All right, we can do better than that. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. We like to have high energy in this building because this is where dreams become a reality for Williamson County Schools. We have 280 kids that apply an interview to be in this program that you're sitting in right here. And this is the Entrepreneurship Center. We used to call it the EIC. The building that you saw at the very end of this video, through this wall, will be open come August 10th, and it's the Innovation Center. So EIC now stands for the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Campus, and between these two buildings, we will have over 800 students a day that have chosen to be in this facility. Here, if you're not familiar with this building, we are in year 9 of this particular program, the Entrepreneurship Program, and I would encourage every one of you, this is a shameless plug, come get involved and come be a mentor. We have over 150 mentors just like yourself that come once a month. If you've got 45 minutes, it's once a month, last Thursday of every month, that we bring in people like you that help guide these kids. These kids come here, and from day one, they try to take a dream and make it a reality. On this wall right here, we have launched 2 companies out of this place. Markify was our first national championship in Chicago. There are over 500 locations that we use the curriculum called Incubator EDU. There's 500 locations internationally. We were the reigning back-to-back national champions. Spiky, she got accepted into Wharton School of Business at Penn. And if you know anything about that, I could never get in. I could pay somebody and still not get in. It is less than 1% of incoming freshmen get into that. She launched her company. It's a spiked drink detection keychain. And she has raised $75,000+. She has been on many, many shows, and she is remarkable. And our kids here literally take an idea and make it a reality. And what we say here is fail often and fail forward. That's the only way you know how to learn. And it's the only place I dare say that we say that in the school system, that it's okay to fail. Next door, I cannot wait. Please mark down August the 7th at 11 o'clock. That's going to be our ribbon cutting and our grand opening and tour that day of the new Innovation Center. And inside this Innovation Center, we'll have 5 brand new programs launching. We'll have aviation. It'll be the largest aviation program in the state. 205 kids. We're maxed out on the day the doors open. We have hospitality, tourism, and culinary. We have thankful to Columbia State, who is our partner there. We have advanced power machinery. That our partnerships there are TCAT. This will be our first TCAT in Williamson County history location. And Caterpillar is our partnership there. We have a partnership with the city of Franklin. It is incredible. It is a fire management program. We just put our first cohort of kids through this year, 12 kids. How many got job offers on the backside of that, Chris? Where did Chris? 2 of the 12. 2 of the 12 got jobs. And then last but not least is cybersecurity and AI, which you all know is a need for our area in the Middle Tennessee region. We are so thankful for you to be here today. Thankful to host this event, Mindy. And I will be quiet. You don't even have to tell me to shut up today. So here you go. Back to Mindy.
Thanks, Jeremy. So there's a story behind that, but that's okay. I'm going to ask Steve Allsbrooks to come up. And who knows what happens on July 17th? Early voting starts. Do you know what district you're in right now? Congressional district? I'm a little confused myself. Steve's going to help us understand whether you're in the 5, 7, 28,000 or whatever you might be in.
Thank you, Mindy. For the best thing, I could spend 5 hours on this. You need to talk to our good friends at the Election Commission. They're very proficient at this and can tell you it's very, very confusing. I do want to say one thing that I think is very important, and there's even confusion on this. I'm the district director for Congressman Van Epps. We have an office in the historic courthouse. If you're in our district now, we will be your congressman the rest of the year until the first week of January. So and we have caseworkers that do thousands of cases every year, whether it's Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, veterans, we do passports, all that things will continue. If you're in Congressman Ogle's district, he has an office in Columbia, and you're in his district, that'll go till January. Now, the congressional district is a lot more complicated. They have switched the 5th district, which used to be on the east side of Williamson County, east of 65 is now on the west side. That's Congressman Ogles and Charlie Hatcher are running, and there'll be a Democratic in November. On the east side of 65 and the city of Brentwood, we're in a totally new congressional district with no incumbents, Republican or Democrat. So if I've totally confused everybody, I'm sorry. I call the Election Commission. But you will be voting in the primary for those 2 seats starting on Friday with early voting. And then, like I said before, if you have any issues that we can help you with, we will be there till January. Mindy, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. So I asked you before, and I'm going to suggest it again. If you have not signed on to the Williamson County Schools guest Wi-Fi, please do so, and go ahead and get your Mentimeter set up.
Good morning. On behalf of the team at Williamson Health, the video that we're going to show is about AEDs. Seconds matter in a cardiac emergency. And knowing how to use an AED can potentially save a life. So if this is the video we're going to see, hopefully you'll learn how to step up confidence to help somebody in a cardiac emergency.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
We are inside the Williamson County 911 Center, where these public safety dispatchers take nearly 500 calls a day.
Your mom's not breathing?
Many of these calls are medical emergencies, including cardiac episodes. Take it from us, you don't need to be a medical professional to save a life. Almost anyone can use an AED and perform CPR. As a matter of fact, AEDs can be found in many public places across the community, and they provide clear, step-by-step instructions so that anyone can use them effectively. In a moment, I'll show you how. Every year in the United States, over 350,000 cardiac arrests occur at home or in public places outside of the hospital setting. National statistics show that immediate CPR and AED usage can double or even triple a person's chance at survival. But that only happens when people like you, citizens, who are willing to act, step in. Here's what you can do in an emergency. First, if you see someone collapse, quickly assess the situation. Are they breathing? Are they responsive? If not, action is needed immediately. Seconds count. Call 911 right away to get professional help on the way. Don't hesitate. The sooner you call, the sooner help will arrive. And simultaneously, the 911 dispatchers can guide you with step-by-step instructions.
Is there an AED available?
Yes, there's an AED on the wall. I'll go get it.
If there's an AED nearby, use it quickly. All you have to do is turn it on and follow the voice prompts.
Connect electrodes.
You have nothing to fear. The machine will guide you through the process and will only deliver a shock if it's necessary. Remember, your actions can make the difference between life and death.
Stand clear.
Clear.
Analyzing now.
You might feel nervous or unsure. That's normal, but your involvement gives the person the best chance at survival until emergency services arrive. Williamson Health EMS and our public safety partners consider it a privilege to provide you with an exceptional EMS system. However, the chain of survival starts with you. We encourage every citizen to take a few moments to learn more about AED usage and CPR. Together, we can save lives.
Thank you to Renaissance Bank, who's our presenting partner for Frank Talks, which is held the second Monday of every month at various locations across the community. Pape Dawson is also a sustaining partner for Franklin Tomorrow, and you're going to hear more from Alan Thompson, who many of you know here in Williamson County. Franklin Tomorrow is 25 years old, a little over 25 years old, created around the same time as another organization with a similar name, and that's Cumberland Region Tomorrow. Our mission, Franklin Tomorrow, is to engage the community, foster collaboration, and then advocate for a shared vision for the future of Franklin. For the future of Franklin. Cumberland Region Tomorrow has a completely different philosophy, and that is to work with the 10-county region of Middle Tennessee. But we're all connected. Issues and topics don't stop at county lines. They spread across the region. Alan is the board chair for Cumberland Region Tomorrow. And so, Alan, take us away. We'll try to get it a little better, operating a little better.
All right. Thanks, Mindy. We're about solving problems, so we wanted to start off with a technical one this morning. So it worked out great. I joined the Cumberland Region Tomorrow. I've known of Cumberland Region Tomorrow for forever. We were founded back in 2000. This is our 26th year of existence. I joined the board, I believe, 5 years ago. I went to the restroom at my first board meeting, and I came back and I was vice chair. So you got to learn, go to the restroom before your board meetings. That's very critical. We've got several different initiatives as Cumberland Region Tomorrow that's grown over the years. But first, one thing we wanted to do, and we're going to talk about that, is get out into our surrounding 10 counties. And today is Williamson County, which is my backyard, so I a little favoritism towards Williamson County. So we're excited to be here this morning. All right, before we get going, I think, and Mindy's probably going to talk about this, but congratulations, the city of Franklin got its second All-American city. And y'all just got back from that, right, Mindy? So that's pretty impressive. That's why people want to move here and live here. Because of the values that have been built up over decades here in the city of Franklin. So who we are? We're 10-county region, same as that of GNRC. So if you're familiar with Greater Regional Nashville Council, they have this same region. So Montgomery, Robertson, Sumner, Cheatham, Dixon, Davidson, Wilson, Rutherford, Williamson, and Murray. This is the region that kind of is known as our MSA around the Nashville-Davidson County area. With that, one of our main goals is we want these counties to communicate. We want everybody to talk about what's going great in your county. What are you struggling with in your county? And then how can we learn from each other, or how can we assist each other in trying to solve these particular issues? All right, so our board, we have a crazy intelligent board that's brought to the table here, and it's anywhere from college representatives from Vanderbilt to MTSU to Chambers, Nashville, and Cheatham County to banks, anywhere from Pinnacle and Wilson Bank to contractors, developers, and architects, all brought to the table that understand our industry, but it gives us this wide vast of experience that we bring to the table when we start looking at how do we identify key issues that our region is struggling with, and who do we want to bring to the table to have a conversation on how to solve it. The other aspect of it is we have representatives from all 10 counties on our board, and that is critical, because we want that voice at the table. We need to hear from everybody. It's every now and then we'll lose a county here and there, but we have to go back, re-recruit, and bring that voice back to the table. Okay, so our values: collaborate, data-driven, leadership and stewardship. It gets back to kind of what I'd spoken to. So our group basically pulls together people from all across the region to talk about these particular things. But main thing is collaboration, but also promoting leadership. Leadership is key, and you're going to see that as being one of the key components at our Power Tennis Summit that will be coming up this fall, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Again, the main thing is we want to bring people to the table. We want people to talk to one another. We want counties to understand, hey, I'm struggling with education. Well, here's what we did with education. We're struggling with traffic. Well, that's every county, and so, but here's how we're handling our infrastructure issues, whether that be water, sewer, affordability, any of those. How do we come together, and how do we come up with solutions working together as a region to benefit one another? CRT today. Okay, so Cumberland Region Tomorrow, back when it was originally formed, so it was year 2000, between 2000 and 2001. If you remember, we just landed the Preds. The Oilers just became the Titans. We just got back from the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, Nashville was on the national radar. We were a major blip. We've been on the national radar, but now we're coming in fairly significant. So a lot of people saw this as we're seeing a lot of growth, and we're going to see a lot of growth coming. And so we had some visionary leaders come together and say, we need to look at this from a region. We need to form a council of people that will focus on major issues in the region. And back in that time, the major number one issue was transportation. And transportation is still an issue today. But multiple things affect transportation. Infrastructure, land planning, land uses, funding for that infrastructure, all that affects transportation. And so that was the main focus, really, for Cumberland Region Tomorrow in its infancy, and really its main focus right up to about a year and a half ago. Transportation plays such a key role in how our society functions, how our society works, where our affordable housing lands, and how people are connected. So it's a key role. When Freddie O'Connell was elected in Nashville, he ran on, I will get a dedicated funding for a transportation system in Nashville. And I thought, there's no way you're going to do that, and you're going to do that fast. But he did it. So if you guys can remember, back in 2018, we had a referendum on a major transportation system that Mayor Berry had brought up. And that failed, and it failed significantly. And I was standing on top of the hotel at B&A about 2 months ago with the COO, and I was looking down onto the parking garage. B&A, our airport, for those who don't know that. But and I'm looking down on our parking lot, and there's this huge covered area that was designed to receive a mass transit light rail system. And he goes, you know, the funny thing is, had we approved that 9 years ago, we would be opening that this year. And just think, if we had a light rail system that went from the airport to downtown Nashville. Now that goes back to 9 years ago when we were voting on an item like that. So when you look at that, and at the time it was a $9 billion ticket, and that's a lot of money. Well, today it's probably 4 times that. And so when we don't make decisions or we turn particular things down, because, man, that 10 years, that's going to take forever to get that done. Well, 10 years goes by in a blip, right? It goes by really, really fast. But that being said, when we don't make those decisions, which comes back to our leadership role, we have to pay for it. And eventually we're going to have to make decisions that move us forward in that direction. We have to make decisions that sometimes we're not going to see the outcome. Some people that aren't born yet will see that outcome, but we still have to make those decisions. But I say all that, that was the number one focus for Cumberland Region Tomorrow. So Cumberland Region Tomorrow today, we've got a whole slew of items that comes with growth, as most of you guys know. Affordable housing is probably the number one, or just affordability, period, is becoming the number one thing that we have to address. And everything impacts that, from transportation to sewer infrastructure, water infrastructure, you name it. Affordability is going to be our number one challenge over the next few decades. So how do we address that? How do we work together as counties? Here's another problem we got to solve. Are we there? We're back. Okay. So when you look at that, the importance that we see for Cumberland Region tomorrow are greater now than they ever have been. And again, we just want to keep that dialogue. We want that communication to go from county to county so that we are talking. And I'll bring you up to date on the Powhatan Summit here in a bit. So State of the Region. We pulled this together last year, and you can scan that, and it'll take you to a digital version of it. But there's a booklet. We do have a few in the back if you want to get some of those or take one with you. But it's a booklet, and basically what we did is we took all 10 counties and we looked at particular metrics so that we can compare one county to another. We worked with GNRC, we worked with Vanderbilt, we worked with Think Tennessee on taking the data that they had kind of worked together and combining it to get to the information that we had. All right, so county conversations. Okay, so Williamson County, and I'm going to go over to the metrics here. So you'll see these kind of metrics as you flip through that book. So population was 247. Well, if everybody was at Rogers' last state of the county last week, it's 275. Now, this was done with information that is a little bit dated, but there's been growth since then. So this information in our state of the county is for 2025. We will be going back and updating the information across the counties so that when you get onto the digital version, you'll get the 2026 version of that by the time we get to the Power of 10 Summit. But this is key information we looked at. So population, and Rogers also said when he started 25 years ago, I think that population was 140,000. So it's more than doubled in that 25-year span. And if you look at our region of all 10 counties is roughly 2.2 million. It's expected to grow by 1 million people by 2040. And you think, man, 2040 is way out there. It's 14 years. It's 13 and a half years. That will go in a blink of an eye. It will go really fast. We just announced the Super Bowl is coming in 2030. Just think about the infrastructure and everything that's got to be decided on to get ready just for that Super Bowl. If you're looking at, we're going to grow by 30% in 14 years, we have to start making decisions and getting things moving forward. Otherwise, that growth is going to end up choking us. And so we have to be very smart about how we do that. Growing up in Williamson County, growing up in Franklin and understanding Franklin is probably the most progressive city that says, we're not going to put our heads in the sand and say no growth. We're going to embrace growth. And we're going to tell it exactly how it's going to grow and where it's going to grow. And then we're going to get out in front of it in terms of our infrastructure and our infrastructure cost. We have to see that type of leadership go across our entire region. Because when you don't see it, even though you're doing it well here in Williamson County, if the other counties aren't, it's still going to impact you. Nashville impacts everyone, but we all impact one another. So if we can work together to get that decision-making process and mindset, it's critical for us moving forward in the future. All right, so county conversation. These are the questions we're going to ask Mindy, and they're going to answer on their phone, correct?
So if you have downloaded Mentimeter to your phone and you're seeing the presentation on your phone as we move forward, you will be able to input your answer and it will pop up on the screen. So hopefully you've downloaded this. Let's give it a whirl. What do you think? Let's give it a whirl. If you don't have the code yet or haven't logged into Mentimeter, there's the code. It's on your table. And we'll go to the next one. What's one thing about Williamson County that the rest of Middle Tennessee needs to better understand? What's one thing about our county that may be different than the other 9 that we need to understand?
Now we're going to wait until all 45 respond, correct?
No, we might talk about a few of them. So, Alan, I wanted to ask you a question while we do this.
Okay.
So there are regional organizations. You mentioned GNRC and others, but our leaders are working together as well through the Mayor's Caucus and other items, other organizations, right?
Correct. And GNRC hosts the Mayor's Caucus, and Mayor Moore, you're in here somewhere. Oh, there he is. And I know, Mayor, you've chaired that caucus for many years. But, bringing the key mayors across the region together to talk about key issues. And that's a function through GNRC. But we have many regional partners.
Mayor Moore, can I ask you to come up here and answer a question so that it's not just a voice in the wilderness? So is the Mayor's Caucus kind of a safe space? Is it a place the mayors can talk without? Is it kind of a safe space? Just wondering.
Well, there's 70 mayors. We represent about 2 million people, and it is a very safe place for us to carry on a conversation about issues that affect all of us. We've certainly focused on transportation, but we're currently working on solid waste, and housing is definitely a discussion.
Does anybody want to expand on an idea they put up here? Raise your hand if you want to. Elena?
I was the one who referenced how important it is for accessibility for our leaders. That's something that it distinguishes us from other areas, and I feel that is so important because we're able to hear in real time issues so that we can take it to the table for me, in reference to education, being able to have conversations when we have retreats and be problem solvers.
So, there's a couple up there. Not everybody is rich. Do you think that that's what Middle Tennessee thinks about us? We had a speaker earlier this year who said that people told him not to come to Williamson County because we were bougie. And we might be bougie a little bit. But, I mean, any thoughts on that? Are we doing enough? Are we organized enough? Are we self-reliant as a county and a community? Or do we need the region? Okay, that's just my brain talking to me today.
You want me to answer that one?
Yeah, I want you to answer it. That's
Okay.
great. Why don't you answer that, Alan?
Okay, so I've been in Franklin since high school, and when you went to Franklin, it was a trip. It was way out there. You know, we're not way out there anymore. The improvements that have been made in Franklin, that's why you get awarded an All-American City. The leadership that we've had over 3 decades has kind of built to what you see today. And by doing that, you build value. Here's what we're seeing, and you know, we skipped over one of the main issues that we've never seen in our lifetime, and that's a global pandemic. And COVID changed all the rules overnight. COVID, which came in and said, hey, your $600,000 house is now 1.2 overnight. And it's like, great, yeah, it's 1.2, but the one you want to buy is 1.4. So it doesn't really change anything, right? And so we've seen cost go up dramatically. And I'll speak to that and the importance of it. When you see costs go up dramatically, people like my son can't afford to buy a house here. He can't come close to afford to buy a house. He did just get a house in Dixon for $330,000, and he got a 6.5% interest rate. Now, when I got our first house, 6.5% was fantastic. But 6.5% on my $62,000 house was, we had a 7.5%. It was manageable. But an entry-level house in Franklin, $800,000-$900,000 entry-level house in Franklin. So what does that do? That takes people like your early graduates, your younger families, who, whether they're your firemen, your teachers, they work in the restaurants, they work in your hotels, that workforce is removed from your community, and that workforce is every bit of an important infrastructure as water, sewer, roads, and everything else. And so all of a sudden, when that workforce can't afford to live here, they move farther and farther out. And you're going to have a real infrastructure issue by not accommodating a workforce like that.
And isn't that another reason that the region matters? Is because we are relying on the region for our workforce. We're relying on the region for half of our jobs, because up to half of the people are commuting out of Williamson County to another county to go to work. So the region matters. Even when we're talking about local issues, the region matters.
Yeah, 100%. So you have to draw your workforce from other counties, and a lot of time it's the neighboring county. Pretty soon it's going to be the neighboring county. Pretty soon you'll be drawing them from Alabama and Georgia. I mean, we're pushing farther and farther out with that. So that is a real issue. And as I said before, affordability is huge. We are a victim of our own success. And that's what it comes down to.
But success is better than In this instance,
it-
success is better than failure, Jeremy. Sorry.
This is a great problem to have, but it's still a problem.
Right. So we've got another question. Let's see what that one is. What is one issue that crosses county lines and affects your businesses or families? We might have talked about this one a little bit, but go on and put those answers in. Okay. What do you got, Alan?
All right. So several ones here. Affordable housing we talked about, transportation, obviously traffic. On the obviously traffic, when sometimes you can, if you commute one way into work, you can be naive about all these other ways. And I tell a story. I had to do a presentation in Spring Hill in the morning. And so I decided, hey, I'm going to leave my house. I'm going to take Carter Creek, and I'm going to take the back roads to go down to Spring Hill. And it was no problem. I could get straight to Spring Hill. The traffic coming north, oh my goodness. And these are on county roads that, they're wide enough. They're 24 feet wide, but at every intersection, you would have cars backing up more than 100 deep. And so when I look at those people coming up there, and it's like, man, I would be frustrated too. I would be going to my representative saying, we need to stop growth. We need to do this. We need to do that. If you're sitting in your car that long. So real issues in finding out that solution is going to be key.
Thoughts? Something that's up here that we haven't seen before? Or something we have seen before?
Well, it may be up there. I'm not sure if it is, but childcare is another huge issue.
Childcare.
And if you think about it, we have a generation of kids coming out of school, getting married. We have the highest car loan debt in the nation's history. They have student loans they're paying off. We're asking them to pay for a house 3 times the amount that we would have had to pay for. Wages have not tripled. So we're asking a generation to do that, and your child care is probably going to cost as much as your mortgage, if not more. And so we got an entire generation that we are putting a heavy weight on their shoulders from a financial standpoint, and we have to figure out a solution to that.
Any other thoughts on this one? We have one. Oh, Patty, hang on one second.
I think as a region that we need to get away from the government's going to solve our problem. We got to start collaborating, and that was one of the first things that I had said. And I think we try to do it. We sit around, we have these think tanks, like how can we solve the problem? But I think we still are counting on our government, and we can't tax people enough to fix these issues. We got to collaborate and come together as businesses, community members, and decide, how are we really going to solve the problem and quit talking about it for 10 years. So that's just...
If I had hands, I'd applaud for that. Okay, one final question. What are you most proud of here? Yeah, I think schools could definitely be an answer there. And it's not popping up. Go and put it in, because we're going to create a word cloud on this one. To me, schools and community are kind of the same, because schools are building community here. We really are part of a real network of community. Okay, great. Quality of life. Leadership. These are great answers. Anybody have an example of how one of these things makes life great? Heck.
I put welcoming community. Like, I hear folks complain all the time about all these new people moving in and this and that, but I've also seen with my own eyes at farmers markets, Main Street Festival, Pumpkin Fest, like all different kinds of community events, how friendly we all are, how welcoming we all are. So, like, yes, the effects of so many people moving in are frustrating, and logically so, but we do enjoy welcoming new neighbors in, and that's definitely one thing that we shouldn't forget about.
Thank you for that. How many of you were born here? How many of you, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. How many of you that were born here, your parents were born here? Seems like we all came from somewhere, doesn't it?
We have one in the far back.
In the far back, okay. I can't, oh, okay, yes, Tina, okay, yes, she's true. So when I came to Franklin in 1983 as a summer intern at the Review Appeal, grew up in Nashville. We lived in Nashville, and we came down here for special things. And then I got a job at the Review Appeal out of college, and my dad said, well, I'm going to go down there and check it out, make sure it's okay. And he called me a couple days later at MTSU, where I was a student. He said, Mindy, did you know there are 3 liquor stores and 2 pool halls on that Main Street? I said, Daddy, I did not know that. No, I did not know that. Of course, I did know that because I'd been a summer intern in the summer report. But that was the Franklin, when people say I miss the Franklin of my youth, that's the Franklin that I remember. But is that the Franklin I want to see today? So it still is a special memory to me. And I said, Daddy, I'm going to work for the paper. I think I'll be okay. And I have been. So it's been great. But a lot of the things that are up there, this is a friendly community, and we are so lucky. So thank you for participating today. You have another slide, I think.
Yeah, and real quick, one thing I'd add is that we haven't talked about is intentional about parks and open space. And Williamson County, Franklin, both together, I think you're the only city I know of that has a park impact fee. It makes a difference. That's a quality of life that you weave into the fabric of that community for generations and generations. But you have to be intentional about things, and that intentionality was decided upon decades ago. And look at where we are today, talking about decisions going in the right direction. Let's see.
This is your long-term vision survey, if you want to take that.
Yeah, if you'd like to give us suggestions from your end of, hey, Cumberland Region tomorrow, you might should think about that. Scan this with your phone. We would love your input. You don't have to do it this second, but anytime you want to add your input, that would be great, and we'd love to have that. Okay, I think this is where I end, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the Power of 10 Summit, that's the one significant event that we bring together every year. It's open to everyone. We have great regional partners from GNRC to Nashville Regional Chamber, Leadership Middle Tennessee, Sycamore, Urban Land Institute. All these folks kind of come together, but we reach out to all 10 of our counties, and that's why we wanted to visit all 10 of our counties and make sure you know that the Power of 10 Summit is going to be November 17th this year. This will allow you to register for that summit, and it's at the Music City Center. It'll be a full day, but we'll feed you well, and we'll talk about some good conversations.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Thanks so much. So see, it's working now, but that's all good. Yeah. So thank you to you, Cumberland Region tomorrow. Jennifer Chalice, who's their executive director, cannot be here today because of a family issue. And Alan, you did a fantastic job subbing in. I think you did a fantastic job. Give him another round of applause. Again, these are our partners in presenting Frank Talks, and our sustaining partners, Atmos Energy, Pape Dawson, and Williamson Health. Next things coming up. Our next Frank Talks meeting is August 12th, and we'll be at the Williamson County Enrichment Center, which is the one on next to the library, parking in the library parking lot. If Jessica Jeffers, our library director, doesn't have too big a program going on that morning, but maybe we'll get there before everybody else. And then our next breakfast with the mayors is July 28th at Rolling Hills Community Church. And guess what? That will be Rogers Anderson's final breakfast with the mayors with us. We're going to have some fun. We're going to celebrate an all-American breakfast with the mayors. Our friends from the National Civic League are planning to come and make a presentation at our hometown. But also we're going to celebrate Rogers, and we want to have some fun that day. May have a surprise or two for that. But it'll be a great morning, July 28th. Rolling Hills Community Church, 7 a.m. The registration is on our website and on our socials to get registered. Bring a friend. It will be a very friendly and we believe fun a day for breakfast with the mayors. So there you go. Look at those two. We're going to have to come up with another slide, aren't we? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. But there's our All-America City crew. Some of them are here this morning. We spent how many days in Denver? It's all four days in Denver with the National Civic League pursuing the second time designation as an All-America City. It was nerve-wracking a little bit. They don't announce them in order or alphabetically or anything. So as they got through number 8 and hadn't called our name, 8 of 10 and hadn't called our name yet, I was a little nauseous. But also, as they began to describe number 9, we knew it was us, and we were so excited. And we really could not have made that trip without the support of Atmos Energy and Ascension St. Thomas. We took 12 people, 9 folks from Franklin Tomorrow, 3 from our Youth Advisory Council, Sophia Bailey's here, one of those, some of our board members, and 3 city representatives. There were cities that brought 60 people. I don't know how they afforded that, but they did. But we had a wonderful time, and we're excited to once again be in All-America City. So we'll be celebrating this on July 28th, and we want you to join us at Rolling Hills. So thanks so much. I hope you go out and make it a great day. There are books by the table there if you want to pick one up, or we'll send the link for you to download it electronically as well. Yeah.
First, I want to say thank you for coming. We love Mindy. Sorry for the technology problems. We're going to give you, as a parting gift, because of our technology problems, a sneak peek at the new building. If you want to go through it, we're going to walk over right now. Feel free to come see it. You'll get a sneak peek of it because I feel like we failed you technology. So I'm sorry.
If there was one place I'd do one of these without Sarah, our operations administrator, it probably would have been here, but hey, okay, it's good. Thanks for taking them over there. Great. Go out and make a great day.